Okay, so have you ever like finished a book and you just have to tell someone about it? I'm kind of feeling that way right now about this book, Save Our Souls by Matthew Pearl.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
I think it's one of those stories that almost feels like a movie.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, it's all true.
Wow.
It's this historical account of this family, the Walkers,
Okay.
who decided to live like their whole life aboard a schooner.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it wasn't just like a vacation or anything.
Right. Right.
Their ship, they called it the Wandering Minstrel.
Hmm. In the late 1800s, that's pretty unusual
Yeah.
to choose that kind of life.
Especially with kids.
Yeah, and the book really gets into that, like especially Elizabeth Walker.
Uh-huh.
The mother, she's portrayed as just fiercely independent, like totally comfortable at sea, like defying every societal norm of the time.
It's so cool how Pearl, the author,
Yeah.
uses all these primary sources.
It's not just like, a historian's interpretation. You're getting actual letters, log entries from the ship,
Yeah.
even court records
Court records, yeah.
from the time. It's amazing.
So it really pulls you in.
Yeah, you feel like you're right there with them.
Yeah.
Especially when the Minstrel wrecks on Midway Atoll.
Midway, that's pretty remote, right?
Super remote.
Like the middle of nowhere.
Tiny little group of islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Wow.
Miles and miles of nothing but ocean.
Talk about a nightmare.
Oh, no.
Like being stuck there.
What?
And the irony, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wandering minstrel.
Right. Stranded.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, a deserted paradise or
Oh,
anything.
great.
No, Midway had its own set of challenges. Harsh weather,
Okay.
very limited food, and, wait for it, millions of goonie birds.
Goonie birds. What did they, like, steal their food?
Worse. They were just, like, everywhere.
But the Walkers, they were incredibly resourceful. Like, they figured out a way to use the oil from the birds for cooking.
Okay, that's both gross and impressive, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's survival mode.
Total survival mode.
Yeah.
And get this, they weren't alone on this island.
No.
They find another castaway,
Okay.
a sailor named Hans Jorgensen.
Oh, okay. So maybe like a potential ally?
On the surface, yeah, it seems like it.
Okay.
But Hans, he's got a bit of a secret,
Uh-oh.
and it's a dark one.
Okay.
He's a convicted murderer,
What?
marooned on this island by his own crewmates.
Oh, wow. Talk about tension, right?
Hey, no, can you imagine?
They're dealing with a shipwreck, and now they're stuck with a criminal.
It really makes you think of who's the bigger threat, right?
Right. The environment or the people.
Exactly. And this whole theme of trust, it plays out through the whole book. The Walkers, they had almost experienced a mutiny on the Minstrel before they even wrecked.
Really?
So they're already on edge. And then you've got John Cameron. He's the first mate.
Okay.
He kind of shrouded in mystery. The book hints at him being involved in, like, opium smuggling.
Opium smuggling. That's a whole other level. That's a whole other layer of intrigue to the story.
Yeah, and this is all before we even get to all the escape attempts, near rescues, and a rescue that, well, comes with a really shocking price tag.
Wait, what? So the rescuers, they weren't exactly good Samaritans.
Let's just say they saw an opportunity.
Wow, you've really piqued my curiosity.
Right.
Like, the shipwreck is one thing.
Yeah.
But the people, the betrayals, that's what really gets me.
It's like a real-life thriller.
Uh-huh.
And the way Pearl brings in all the historical details, like
Yeah.
life at sea in that era, the social dynamics.
You've convinced me. I'm adding this to my reading list.
Yes.
But no spoilers.
Okay, deal.
I need to experience this for myself.
I get it.
You know what I find amazing?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, even though they're stranded on this island, right? Pearl, he somehow creates this feeling of claustrophobia.
Yes.
Like you can almost feel the weight of their isolation surrounded by all that ocean.
Yeah, it's not just being physically isolated. It's that emotional isolation too, right?
Yeah.
Like constantly wondering who to trust.
Exactly.
Who's going to betray them next?
Yeah. And remember, they almost had that mutiny on the ship before.
Yeah.
It's like this underlying tension that just runs through the whole story.
Totally. And then they've got Hans, right?
Right.
A convicted murderer just thrown into the mix.
It's like a pressure picker of suspicion. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine trying to survive in that situation.
It really makes you think, like, what would you do?
Right.
Like, how would you react if you were in that situation?
Yeah.
Could you hold on to your humanity?
That's a tough one.
Right. And the book doesn't give you any easy answers.
Right.
It makes you confront these, like, gray areas of human nature.
Yeah.
Like, what choices would people make when they're pushed to their limits?
Absolutely.
There's this one scene, it's really intense,
Yeah.
where Frederick Walker, the father,
Okay.
he actually contemplates killing Hans.
Whoa.
Like, he's convinced it's the only way to protect his family.
Wow. That's heavy.
It is. But thankfully, Elizabeth, she steps in.
Okay.
She believes there's got to be a better way.
Yeah, I mean, her character is just, she's incredible.
She is.
Like a beacon of strength
Uh-huh.
and resilience.
Yeah. But you also see her vulnerable moments.
Yeah.
Her fear for her children.
Oh,
It
yeah.
makes her feel so real.
Human.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's not just her. I mean, Pearl, the author, he
Yeah.
does such a good job of
Yeah.
developing all the characters,
Yeah.
even the ones who maybe make bad choices.
Right. You can kind of understand their motivation.
Yeah.
Why they're doing what they're doing.
Right.
Like John Cameron.
Yeah.
We talk about his opium smuggling.
Right.
But it's more like his actions after the shipwreck.
Okay.
The way he manipulates everyone.
Right.
Deceives them. That's what makes him such an interesting character.
He's like a charming rogue, but also super dangerous.
Yes.
Like, you can't trust him at all.
Exactly. And he gets away with it for a while.
Really?
He even manages to collect a reward
No way.
for information about the Wandering Minstrel.
So he's profiting from their misery.
I know. It's crazy.
Wow.
But thankfully, Elizabeth's brother,
Yeah.
J.L. Ayton,
Okay.
he doesn't give up.
Good.
He's determined to find out the truth.
He's like a bulldog.
Yes.
Just won't let go.
And eventually, his efforts, they lead to a formal investigation.
Okay.
And Cameron's lies are exposed.
Wow. So the walkers are vindicated.
Yeah.
That's gotta feel good.
It does, but even with, justice being served,
Right.
the book really shows the impact of the experience on the
Right.
whole family.
Yeah.
Right.
It's realistic,
Yeah.
A lot of adventure stories kind of skip over that part.
They do.
The emotional aftermath.
Yes.
It's not just about surviving the physical danger.
Oh,
it's
right.
about dealing with what comes after.
Yeah, rebuilding your life after something like that.
Exactly.
And speaking of loss,
Yeah.
there's this part in the book, oh man. The walkers spot a ship on the horizon,
Okay.
the city of Peking.
Okay.
It seems like they're going to be saved.
Oh, wow.
A beacon of hope.
That must have been such a relief for them
I know.
to see that ship.
They light bonfires.
Okay.
They wave flags. They're doing everything they can.
To signal for help.
Yes, but because of the reefs around Midway,
Oh.
the Peking can't get close enough.
Oh, no.
So close.
So close to rescue.
I know, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The captain of the Peking, William Seabury,
Okay.
he's known for being cautious,
Okay.
which, normally that's a good thing.
Right.
But in this situation,
It backfires.
it's their downfall.
Wow.
It really makes you wonder, what if he had taken the risk? Would he have risked his ship and the passengers to save them? We'll never know.
It's one of those things you think about,
I know.
those what ifs in history.
Right.
So what happens next?
Well, with the Peking gone,
Right.
the
right.
tension, it just goes up another level.
Yeah.
And John Cameron, he sees his opportunity.
Oh, no.
This is his escape route.
Okay.
He gets Hans and this young Chinese sailor, Moen.
Okay.
They steal supplies, they take a lifeboat,
Wow.
and they head for the Marshall Islands,
Leaving the walkers behind.
leaving the walkers behind, once again, to fend for themselves.
He's really ruthless.
He is.
I mean, willing to betray anyone
I know.
to save himself.
And he's not just escaping.
No.
He wants to cash in on that reward money
Right.
that's being offered for information about the Wandering Minstrel.
He's playing both sides.
He is a master manipulator.
It's like something out of a pirate novel.
Yes.
All these shady characters and double crosses.
And just when you think the walkers are doomed,
yeah.
a sail appears on the horizon.
Right. Oh, is this it?
This is it.
Their real rescue.
They're real rescue, but it comes with a twist.
Of course.
It's the Norma,
Okay.
captained by Charles Johnson.
Okay, wasn't that the guy that Elizabeth's brother,
Yes.
J.L. Ayton, had been trying to contact
Yeah.
to see if he could, find the walkers?
Exactly.
But he wasn't known for being, like, a nice guy.
To say the least.
Okay, so what happened?
Well, he had a reputation for being ruthless,
Uh-oh.
rumored to be involved in opium smuggling himself.
This doesn't sound good.
And you're right to be worried,
Okay.
because when the Norma arrives,
Yeah.
it becomes clear that their rescue is not going to be simple.
Okay.
Charles Johnson, he demands a huge sum of money
No.
to take them to Honolulu.
He's holding them hostage.
Essentially, yes.
After everything they've been through.
I know.
Now they're going to be financially ruined.
It's a moral dilemma, you know. Do they
Yeah.
give in to Johnson's extortion, or do they risk staying on Midway?
It's a tough choice.
It is. And if they do pay, are they basically rewarding his behavior?
Right, right.
It's so complicated.
It makes you think about right and wrong,
I know.
especially in survival situations.
Totally. And it makes me even more curious to find out what happens next.
Mm,
Well, you'll have to wait for part 3 for that.
okay,
But I promise, it's good.
okay,
There are legal battles,
okay.
lingering mysteries,
Uh-huh,
and the resolution, well, it's satisfying.
okay.
But it also leaves you thinking about their experience long after you finish the book.
Yeah.
So they're rescued, but not really free. You know,
Right.
Charles Johnson, the guy who rescued them,
Yeah.
he's basically holding them hostage with this crazy demand for payment.
It's so messed up.
In the book, it really dives into that moral dilemma.
Yeah.
Like, what's the right thing to do in that situation?
And Johnson, he's not just like a straight up bad guy.
Right.
There's more to him, you know?
Yeah, he's obviously in it for the money.
Yeah.
But he's also got this obsession with finding this, like, lost Spanish treasure
Really?
that he thinks is buried on Midway.
Oh, wow.
So there's this weird mix of, like, greed and adventure.
That's interesting.
And through it all, you've got Elizabeth Walker.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
She is.
Still fighting for her family.
Right.
She doesn't just give in to Johnson's demands.
No.
She negotiates.
Good for her.
I know. Even in this crazy, stressful situation,
Yeah.
she manages to work out a deal where the final payment
Okay.
will be decided by the authorities back in Honolulu.
Wow. She's like thinking strategically
Right.
under pressure.
It's incredible.
Talk about resilience.
And remember, her son, Freddie.
Right. He's still really sick.
Yeah, he had to stay on the Norma
Okay.
because he was too weak to travel.
Right.
And now a storm is brewing,
Oh, no.
threatening to separate them again.
So not only are they dealing with Johnson and his demands, but now they might lose Freddie?
It's just one thing after another.
That's awful.
And of course, Johnson, he uses this to his advantage,
Oh, really?
trying to pressure the Walkers even more.
Ugh, what a guy.
But eventually, they do reach some kind of agreement,
Okay.
and they set sail for Honolulu.
So they're finally off Midway.
Yes, but the drama, it doesn't end there.
What happens next?
Well, we've got John Cameron.
Right?
Remember him?
The first mate?
Scheming away in the Marshall Islands.
Oh.
He's busy cooking up this whole elaborate lie,
Oh, no.
making himself out to be the hero,
Oh, wow.
blaming the Walkers for the shipwreck.
Is he serious?
And the crazy thing is,
What?
people believe him.
No, what?
He's really good at manipulating people.
He's like a natural storyteller?
Yeah, mixing truth and fiction
Wow.
to get what he wants.
So he's like completely rewriting the narrative.
He even manages to collect a reward from an insurance company.
Are you kidding me?
It's unbelievable.
He's got some nerve.
He really does.
But at least Elizabeth has her brother.
Yes, J.L. Ayton.
Right, back home fighting for her.
He starts noticing all the holes in Cameron's story.
Good.
He doesn't let it go.
Okay.
He gathers evidence. He contacts officials.
He's like a one-man investigation.
Totally. And it pays off.
It does.
There's a formal investigation by the British consulate.
Okay.
The truth comes out.
So the Walkers are finally cleared.
They are. And Cameron is exposed as a liar.
It's a satisfying ending.
It is.
Yeah.
But even though their names are cleared,
Yeah.
the book shows how the experience really affected them.
Right. The emotional toll.
They're physically safe, but emotionally and financially drained.
I lost everything.
Their ship, their possessions, almost each other.
Right.
And Freddie, he never really fully recovers from his illness.
It's sad, but it's realistic.
Yeah. Sometimes even when you survive something terrible,
Yeah.
it leaves scars.
It does.
And you know what's really interesting?
Why?
There's a connection to Robert Louis Stevenson.
Oh, the author of Treasure Island?
Yes.
What's the connection?
He was living in Honolulu when the Walkers were rescued,
Wow.
and he became fascinated by their story.
Hmm.
He even interviewed some of the survivors.
I had no idea.
It inspired him to write his own shipwreck novel,
Wow.
The Wrecker.
It just shows how powerful true stories can be.
Yeah, and there's this other detail that I love.
Okay.
Elizabeth's silver tea set.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
It survived the shipwreck
Right.
and was eventually recovered.
It's like a symbol of...
I know, and resilience. right?
Yeah.
Like amidst all that chaos and loss.
Yeah.
this little piece of her old life remained.
It's beautiful.
And the book says she continued using it after the shipwreck.
Wow. That's really powerful.
So why should someone read this book? I think Save Our Souls.
Yeah.
It's more than just a historical account or an adventure story.
Okay.
It's about human nature,
Yeah.
strength of family, and the power of hope, even when things are really bad.
It's a story that makes you think.
It does.
And stays with you.
And it raises all these questions.
Yeah.
About morality, fate, what it means to survive.
Right.
Like what really happened to John Cooper, the missing sailor?
Right.
Did Cameron ever face real justice?
Yeah.
And what about that Spanish treasure? The book gives you hints.
Yeah.
But it lets you decide what to believe.
It lets you draw your own conclusions.
So if you're looking for a book that'll transport you
Yeah.
to another time and place,
Yeah.
a story that'll make you think
Right.
and leave you with questions, Save Our Souls is the book for you.
I'm going to check it out.
You won't be disappointed.
I trust you.
And before we go, we want to hear from you.
Yes.
What stuck with you most about The Wandering Minstrel?
Yeah, let us know.
Was it Elizabeth's strength, the mystery surrounding John Cameron, or something else entirely?
Yeah. Share your thoughts in the comments.
We love hearing from you.
We do.
And as always, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this with your friends.
Yes, spread the word.
Until next time, happy reading.